The facts matter.
Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is March 1st, 2021, and I have a special treat for you guys. But before I get into this, I want to thank Road Pirate Films for sharing this information with the Virgo Triad channel. Here we go. Let's get into this. What you're looking at is the citation that was provided to Pauline Ritchie. We're going to be going over this citation along with all of the notes that were taken by all of the police officers that were there. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the pictures that they took and also a new video that Pauline took herself. This woman is unbelievable. Here we go. Here is the actual citation. You can see that it is in Pauline Denise Ritchie's name. It is for criminal trespass, 2nd degree, and it is from the Federal Way Municipal Court. All right, here we go. The Federal Way Police Department Police Report. This was reported as of 12:08 on 2/8 of 2021, and the crime was for trespassing. And it shows the address of the trespass to be 32818 First Avenue South, Federal Way, Washington. And that is actually the building that was the old Bally's in that location. And that is what Pauline claims she's going to turn into the Moorish Postal Service. So here we go. So this is, there are a few officers involved in this. This shows us the arrest, another involvement. There was a gentleman there with her by the name of George William Lewis at the same location, 51 years old. And he apparently was able to leave or did what he was asked. And then, of course, the victim who was there, which they're showing as Bally's Total Fitness, and they later go on to name the owner of that particular building, or the representative, who is this Daryl Hurst, who they're calling a witness. He actually represents those that own that Bally's building. All right. Here's the booking section, where she originally gave her name as Light Tajiri Bay, which I would imagine would be the reason why she was also cited for giving false information. This shows the original offense to be trespassing. Police responded to a report of a trespass. Property owner assisted in telling the subjects to leave. One refused and was arrested. And here is the supplemental narratives, and I will be reading this for you. This is the chronological investigation that has to be done by a reporting officer. That particular officer happens to be J. Otto in this case. His badge number is 0088. And here we go. On 2/8 of 2021, about 11:07 hours, I made contact with Daryl Hurst by phone. We agreed to meet at 32818 First Avenue South in Federal Way to discuss an evolving trespassing issue. At about 11:18 hours, I arrived on scene and observed two subjects walking on the property, wearing camo clothing. One of the subjects was wearing a red headpiece, making her very easy to locate. I met Hurst in person and verified his ID. I confirmed that he was a representative for the business. He advised that he was a representative for Wiedner Homes, who is the current owner of the property. The parcel number is 1721049 038. Hurst completed a trespass letter for the property and told me that he did not want the two subjects on his property. I advised him of the following. Federal Way Police Department would follow him to where the subjects were currently. I would hear him advise the subject that they were no longer welcome on the property and that they would need to leave. I advised him that if they chose not to leave, I would warn them that they would be arrested if they did not leave. He agreed with the plan. I briefed the other officers on scene of the plan so there would be no miscommunication. We followed Hearst to where the two were occupying. I heard Hearst tell them to leave, which they did not respond. I warned them that if they did not leave the property, they would be arrested. It appeared as if we had gained their voluntary compliance as they both began to walk towards the area where they had a car parked. After about 15 yards, the unidentified female began to walk towards the structure. I had 2 officers place her into custody for trespassing. The unidentified male continued to walk towards the car associated with them. The female was yelling in English to the male, telling him not to speak to us. I later overheard the male on the phone talking in English to someone, relaying that he knew there was, quote, no contract, and he did not know what to do. The female refused to answer any questions and had to be fingerprinted with a mobile AFIS scanner. She was identified as Pauline Ritchie by her fingerprints. She was provided a trespass prior to being booked into the Kent jail. I obtained a statement from Hearst about this incident. The car that was believed to be associated with these 2 subjects was impounded by the business. The male who voluntarily left the property was never identified. There were no injuries. The scene was at 32818 1 Avenue South in Federal Way, and the evidence were documents scanned and submitted into Spillman. Suspect information is Pauline Denise Ritchie. Date of birth 8/3/68, and she was sent to Kent. Recommendations. Forward to prosecutor's office for review and charges. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that all statements made herein are true and accurate, and that I'm entering my authorized user ID and password to authenticate it. It was electronically signed by Jeffrey Otto, badge number 0088, of Federal Way, King County, Washington. Provided an incident number and that it was for trespassing, the date being the 8th, and then there's an additional supplemental narrative added in. On 2/8 of 2021 at about 11:30 hours, I assisted Lieutenant J. Otto and other officers on a trespassing call at the 32818 First Avenue South, the site of a vacant building formerly Bally's. Upon arrival, I saw the property owners, representatives, speaking with the police. 2 subjects, an adult male and an adult female, showed up earlier and remained on the premises when the intention of occupying the premises and were refusing to leave. Lieutenant Otto related that the 2 subjects were refusing to speak with him and that the property representatives would verbally tell the subjects that they needed to leave and not return, and if the trespassers did not comply, the police would make arrests for criminal trespassing, 2nd degree. We followed the representatives to the couple, and I heard one of them tell the trespassers that they needed to leave, but the duo did not reply or react. They started to walk away from us, and I heard Lieutenant Otto give them another verbal warning to leave or face arrest. The male then walked towards the driveway, but the female separated and walked towards the building. The female did not comply, did not respond, did not react, and remained on the premises. At this time, I informed the female she was under arrest for trespassing. I took a hold of her arm, and she tightened her arm briefly to resist being handcuffed, but eventually I was able to successfully cuff her without using force. I informed her that she was under arrest for trespassing, and as I escorted her to the police car, she passively resisted by refusing to walk. Lieutenant K. Schmidt and I were able to pull her along and successfully get her into the back seat of the police car. The female would not answer questions or talk with us, and she kept repeating and mumbling, quote, "Thank you, ancestors, for what you have done for us," end quote. Because she refused to speak or identify herself, I used the mobile AFIS fingerprint scanner to try and ID her. She resisted my efforts by repeatedly balling her hands so that I had a difficult time scanning her fingers. Eventually, I was able to successfully print her and identify her as Pauline Denise Ritchie Moor, date of birth 8/3/1968. I will refer to her as Ritchie in the report. Ritchie had multiple aliases, including Light Tajiri Bay, but there were prior criminal history and driver's license data and photos that verified her as Pauline D. Ritchie. Ritchie was in possession of several documents that appeared to be something about being a sovereign group and that she had jurisdiction of the vacant property and were demanding $800,000 from the United States government. I transported Ritchie to the Federal Way Police Department station and attempted to process her, but she continued to be uncooperative, and so I did not further attempt fingerprinting or photographing her. I issued a sector citation and also a trespass ban for the location to Ritchie. I advised Ritchie of her Miranda warnings, but Ritchie would not respond to me if she understood her rights or not. I transported Ritchie to the Kent City Jail for booking, per Commander T. Grosnickel. Once at the Kent Jail, Ritchie continued passive resistance by not walking or being dead weight, and it took several of the jail officers to process her in. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that all statements made herein are true and accurate, and that I am entering my authorized user ID and password to authenticate it. It was electronically signed by Benjamin Zing, badge number 118, Federal Way, King County, Washington, on the 8th of February, 2021. Has an incident number, and the nature of it is trespassing. The incident date, 2/12/21, and the chronological investigation, again by the original party, J. Otto. On 2/8/21, about 11:07 hours, I made contact with Daryl Hurst by phone. We agreed to meet at 32818 First Avenue South in Federal Way to discuss an evolving trespassing issue. On 2/10/2021, I received an email from the Detectives Division. The email listed George W. Lewis as a possible associate that was never identified. I viewed the DOL photo associated with Lewis, the photo matching the male I observed with the arrested female. This male, G. Lewis, left the property and was not cooperative. He would not interact with anyone and only left after being told he would be arrested. When he saw the female getting arrested, he continued to walk towards the sidewalk where he stood until we left the area. G. Lewis's information was added into Spillman as another. Forward to the city prosecutor. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that all statements are herein true and correct and accurate. I am entering my authorized user ID and password to authenticate it. Signed electronically by Jeffrey Otto on the 12th of February. This is a statement that was done by Daryl Hurst, the owner of the property. And I don't need to read it because I've already read it in the actual document there. But this is his actual signature. This is the parcel information on the actual property, the appraised value, the taxpayer name, and the jurisdiction. And then these are all of the crazy documents that Pauline left on the front of the actual property. So what my guess was in the first place was accurate. The trespass did have to do with this particular property. Now, if you go back and you look at a lot of the actual videos that Pauline has done over the last week, you will see in one that was done not yesterday, but last Sunday, the Sunday prior to yesterday, that she made claims with regards to all kinds of crazy talk that the officers that arrested her had made. But you will find, based on this particular report of not one but 3 different officers, that she didn't speak to them at all. As a matter of fact, she refused to walk and made them carry her or drag her to the police car. Once she got to the jail, she didn't do any better. They were still having to pull her along or lift her up in order to get her in custody. So all of the claims that she made of the arguments with them were all lies. None of that ever happened. As you can see, that's a great deal of documentation. This happens to be a picture of her vehicle, which happened to be impounded. Second picture of the vehicle where it was parked, and of, I would imagine, that being George Lewis. And another picture of the vehicle being impounded, I suppose, or I'm not sure. No, that's, I guess, the location. And there is a picture of George, as they stated that they had taken, and they stopped taking pictures of her because she was being so uncooperative and making it so difficult. So there we go. Here's the detailed history for police incident. It gives us all of the different batches, all of the different entries and messages, and everything that was going on for this specific stop. Okay, this is a redaction log where they just actually remove driver's license numbers when they're providing information to the public, which is what they've done. So 33 pages of documentation with regards to the arrest of Pauline Ritchie. That's really what happened. That's really what she's having to deal with. It is a trespassing charge. And then, of course, a failure to identify herself. She gave false information by giving the Light Tajiri Bay name to the original arresting officer. So for those of you that would actually like to take a look at this documentation yourself, I will have a link in the description for you. But before I sign off here, I want to show you that Pauline really does not believe that she is not more powerful than God. After spending 10 to 13 days in jail and being absolutely warned by the conditions that helped to get her released on bail, let's take a look at what she is up to. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. She did go back to the property, walked right in big as life, and started videotaping, claiming she was taking inventory. Pauline Ritchie either has a mental condition or has fallen so deeply down the rabbit hole that she will not be able to find her way out, short of a very lengthy prison sentence. You're going down a bad road here, girl. All we can do is sit back and watch. All right, everyone, I've got more information that's going to be coming in on this, and I'm going to update you as soon as I have information on any court dates. I am expected to be able to contact and speak to a few people that I will be doing interviews with regards to this. So hang on tight because it's going to be an interesting ride. Everybody have a wonderful day.